This content is brought to you by Mazunder Academy.
Hello everyone. Today in this lecture we are going to study factor in R. So we will see what is a factor, how factor can be used, and in which situation factor is better to use. Then we will see levels of categories. Then we will see displaying the levels in chosen order. That means as per the user's requirement of order, the levels can be displayed. And how is it possible? We will see that. Then how can we rename the levels as per our own names? And then there will be some activity or exercise questions. So without further delay, let us switch to the demonstration. So we are going to study factor. Basically, a factor is used to know the different categories of the data in a data set against a particular variable or feature. Factor stores the data in different levels. Factors can be used for numeric variable also, but mostly we will use factors for categorical variable. Whenever some categorical variables available in your data set, we will use factor to know the different categories of the data in the data set. So for this demonstration purpose, we will use Irish dataset, which is an inbuilt dataset in R. So let's view the dataset first. View Irish. So if we see, there are 5 columns in this dataset: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. So if we look at just this species column, all the data are non-numeric data, text data, or you can say categorical data. So we will apply the factor function over the species data in the subsequent demonstration. So let's go back to our program. To see the data and their categories in the column species, as I mentioned, we will use species column of Irish dataset. So this can be done using the function called factor. And as an argument, we will pass the dataset $, the particular column species. So once factor is applied on this particular column of the Irish dataset, it will create factors and it will store the output to a variable which is named as f. And if we print f, we will see all the data available in species column along with their different levels or categories. So let us see that. If we run, we can see all the data that available in species column, it is displayed, and below it gives us the levels. What are the different levels or categories of the data? Setosa, versicolor, virginica. So these 3 different categories of data available in species column in Irish dataset. Now if we want to see just levels, we don't want to see this data again, so you can apply level function. So levels and then the factor you have created. So if you run this, you can see only the levels which is available: Setosa, versicolor, virginica. Next, suppose we want to see the count. How many Setosa available in this species column? How many versicolor available? How many virginica available? If we want to see the count of that, or in other words, we can see if we want to see the frequency distribution of the data in the species column, we can apply a very important function table over this factor. So table function will create the frequency distribution, or it will display us the count of each of the levels, and we are storing this information in a variable, say t. for further use. And if we print t, so if we run these two lines of code, we can see there are 50 setosa, 50 versicolor, and 50 virginica. So this is the way we can see the count and we can see the different levels of the data. Next, how can we apply factors in real life situation? For example, we have some patient record and the records are maintained based on age in different categories. For example, teenage is one category of patient, senior is another category of patient, then child is another category, adult, and corresponding to each patient their particular category is added, and this all information is stored in a variable called patient. Now if we want to see the different categories and count of this, so we can apply the same idea that we have studied just now. So patient category, if we want to know, then we can apply the factor function over this data, patient data, and it will give us all these data along with each of the category, what are the categories available. Don't worry about this, it is very small we can see, but if the data set is very huge, which is not possible by naked eye, so you must go through use of a programming language. Now if we print, what will happen? So let's run this. So you can see it is showing us all the categories along with the labels adult, child, senior, teenage, and young. And if we want to see the frequency distribution, or you can say the count of each of the labels, then you can apply table function and it will give us, you can see adult 5 adult patient, 5 child patient, 6 senior patient, 2 teenage patient, and 2 young patient. Now sometime we need our output as our own order. For example, we want start from child or say infant, and the last one should be senior. For some reason, if we want, by the way, by default the system will give us in dictionary order A to Z. If you see here, adult came first because A, then C, then S, then T, then Y. So they follow dictionary order by default, and if we want it should be in our order, then we can mention it during the factor creation. For example, here you can see, say patient category, we have recreated the factor function, and then patient is the data, then we can pass the levels, and in the levels we can mention the order at which we want. Is there any patient as infant, is there any patient as child, is there any patient teenage, is there any patient young, is there any patient adult, and then last one is senior. So if we supply our levels here as an order, so in the same order it will give us the output. And then if we apply table function for this patient category, it will give us the frequency. One more point here to be noticed, that although we have seen there is no infant category available, but if we want, we can pass it here as a level whose count will be 0, because there is no data for the infant categories. So let us run this and we can see, so it is as per our orders, first infant, then child, then teenage, then young, then adult, then senior, and all the data value again coming to us according to our requirement. So infant, since there is no data for infant, so it will be count 0, child 5, teenage 2, like this. Now suppose sometime it is more understandable that what is the meaning of infant. instead of name infant, if you put some age range, it will be better to understand. So if we want to do that, that means that is called renaming. Okay, if you want to rename the categories, then same as we have done in earlier video, that levels is the function which will be used to rename the category names. So for example, we are applying levels on the patient category, this variable or this dataset, and all the names serially you have to pass as a string. For example, for infant, it will be replaced, it will be understood that age 0 to 4 will be for infant, age 5 to 8 for child, age 9 to 17 for teenage, and so on. So if we do this and then print the patient categories and table patient categories for the frequency distribution, then everything will be replaced the name as per the requirement. So let us run. We can see it. Earlier this infant is replaced by age 0 to 4, then child is replaced by 5 to 8, and so on. So this is one of the use of factor. Now we will see one activity. Suppose it is asked us to draw a bar graph of the different species in the Irish dataset. That means we are going back to the Irish dataset, the one we have seen here. So in this Irish dataset, finally our factor is stored in T in the table form with the frequencies. So it is asked us for this species you draw a bar graph. So if the activity is given like this, so first you have to create the table for that species column using factor, and then you have to pass it to bar plot function. And in that case, you have to enlarge this little bit because the graph will come here. If you run it, you can see Setosa, versicolor, virginica, all are 50. If you remember, I have shown you earlier. So this is the bar graph. This is default color and nothing here. In this lecture, actually, we are not going to see the other things, or say for example, just one of the parameter. If I want to show you, if you want to say color, different colors, okay. So color equal to, you can give your own colors or you can use rainbow color, okay. So rainbow color, and you pass how many here? We have 3. So if you run it, so rainbow 3 colors will be used to coloring this. We can give the x-axis name, we can give y-axis name, we can give the name of this data. If you want, you can display the count here. Everything is possible, and we have a separate video on it. Please check the playlist. How to draw bar plot, and with all the details, color, border, many things we can do. So all these are explained in a separate video. You can see that. So here just a simple one we have done. Next, suppose I want to show you this drawing of bar plot can be done using another short way, that is called using pipe operator. So this is pipe operator, percent greater than percent. So this symbol is available in migrator package. So before using this, we have to install and load it to the library, this migrator package. So I have loaded it into the library, this package. And how the work is done, this table of F, that is the T, basically it is the T for that particular species column. This T means table of F. It is piped into the bar plot function. So what it will do, bar plot function, in the argument, this table function of F, whatever the output or whatever stored in variable T, this will be considered as an argument, and it will draw the corresponding work. So here it is bar plot of T, so it will draw the bar plot. If I show you, so you can see here the default bar plot, it is showing here. Then we have an activity for you. Using empty cars, we need to do the activity. there are 4 tasks given, so you just go through this task and do the activity. If you have any doubt or any issues with understanding, if you have any questions, you can contact me. Thank you so much.
Please like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to get the latest update.